You ever notice how people talk about carbs like it's some kind of crime? Like, the moment you admit you eat rice, somebody pops out of a bush ready to warn you it's going to ruin your life. Meanwhile, I'm eating rice every single day, losing weight, sleeping better, feeling more human than I have in years. Something clearly isn't matching what we've been told. And here's the thing, everybody argues about high carb versus low carb, keto versus plant-based, carnivore versus vegan, but almost nobody talks about what it actually feels like to live on each one. I've lived low carb, high fat carnivore for years, and now for just over 2 months I've been eating high carb, low fat, plant-based. So let's talk about the real difference. You know, in that honest, this is what it feels like inside my own body kind of way. I'm not here to preach, and I'm not here to convince you to join some cult or make your diet choices feel stupid. This is just my experience, what happened when I was extremely low carb and high fat on carnivore, and what changed when I switched to high carb, low fat, plant-based eating. And honestly, the difference shocked me more than the weight loss. Back when I was carnivore and basically zero carb, I really thought it was the answer. You drop your carbs to almost nothing and the scale moves fast. But, you know, a huge chunk of that is just water weight. You can lose 10 pounds in a week doing that, but none of it is fat loss. It looks good on the scale, sure, but it literally means nothing. And the second you eat carbs again, the same weight just comes straight back. And once the water's gone, reality hits. My energy wasn't just low, it was basically non-existent. I wasn't crashing midday because I didn't have anything to crash from. I'd wake up tired, go through the day tired, and go to bed tired. Towards the end, after about 3 years on carnivore, my sleep was awful. You know that feeling where you just lie there at night trying to fall back asleep? That was me. My thyroid took a huge hit too, and it genuinely felt my whole system was running on fumes. I kept telling myself that it was normal, just adapt, just eat more meat, eat more fat, push through it. But for me, it never got better. So when I switched to high carb, low fat, plant-based eating, I honestly thought I was setting myself up for disaster. You know, I was about to eat 2,000 to 3,000 calories a day, and I'm thinking, this is either the worst idea I've ever had, or I'm going to maintain this exact weight for months, but everything changed fast. I'm just over 2.5 months into high carb now, and I'm down 27 pounds, and I actually feel good. My energy is coming back, my sleep is improving, and for once I'm not fighting my body to lose weight. And here's the part that still blows my mind. I'm basically eating the same calories as I did on carnivore, but this time I'm still losing weight. I'm not starving, not drained, and definitely not dragging myself around like I'm out of battery. It feels completely different, you know, like my body's finally on my side. I'm not trying to pull off some magical body recomposition, but you can tell something's happening. Fat's coming off, my clothes fit better, and I'm pretty sure I'm holding on to a decent amount of muscle. And honestly, I'm not trying to run a marathon tomorrow. You know, I've got to learn how to walk before I can run. My goal is simple, to get the weight off, protect my health, and not die young. If I keep some muscle in the process, then that's great, but the real win is finally feeling like my body isn't pushing back against me. Let's talk about workouts, because this was one of the biggest differences for me. My workouts are super basic. 2 slow elliptical sessions where I'm basically just moving my body while watching something on my tablet, and 2 full body resistance sessions with light to medium weights. You know, I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm not chasing records. I've got knee injuries, spine injuries, so, you know, all I think about is movement. But just moving my body in a way that feels safe and stable. And the thing is, on high carb, I actually have energy to do it. On carnivore, I didn't realise how much I missed that clean, quick burst of energy that you get from carbs. Now I'll eat some white rice or some fruit and my body just wakes up. Workouts feel doable and not just like some sort of punishment. And rice, let me be honest, I used to think rice was the enemy. I was convinced that one bowl would make me gain weight instantly. Now it's literally the foundation of my diet. White rice, fruit, veggies, and somehow I'm losing weight more consistently than ever. And mentally, the difference is huge. I've got good mental clarity. There's no sluggish afternoons, no foggy brain, no feeling like I'm 10 seconds behind everything. You know, that alone makes a massive difference. A couple of weeks ago, I started feeling tired and foggy again. Not terrible, just off. And it lined up almost exactly when I started using the sauna on a daily basis. Between the sweating, the heat, the mild dehydration, the cardio, the resistance training, you know, it all adds up. And it was absolutely contributing to my brain fog and tiredness. The sauna feels amazing, you know, super relaxing, but it drains you in its own way. Even 10 minutes can reset your whole system. Not bad, just something I've had to adjust to recently. Here's the actual difference between low carb and high carb for me. Low carb never gave me energy. I dragged myself through the day. High carb gives me enough energy for my walks, my day, and honestly the biggest one, sleep. When I was carnivore, I thought the exhaustion and thyroid issues were just part of the deal, but once I started eating carbs again, my sleep started improving. It's not perfect, you know, I've had sleep issues for years, so I'm not expecting some miracle, but I wake up feeling more refreshed and alive, and that alone changes everything. And this whole idea that carbs automatically make you gain weight, ridiculous. If that were true, then I'd be 300 pounds by now. Instead, I'm losing weight eating white rice, fruit and vegetables. Big portions every day. It's not the carbs, it's the carbs and fat combo. The oils, the butters, the processed junk. Carbs on their own, you know, from my experience, the body handles them extremely well. I've been extremely low carb, and I've also been extremely high carb. You know, I'm now eating about 650 to 700 grams of carbs a day. So I know exactly how both feel mentally and physically. The difference isn't even mainly about weight loss, it's about how livable the diet is, how it affects your mood, your thinking, your sleep, your ability to function as a normal person. Low carb felt like trying to keep a dying engine running, and high carb feels like the engine is finally working. Living life with almost zero carbs is brutal. I'm not dismissing it. For some people, it genuinely does something for them, and it worked well for me in the beginning. Everybody reacts differently, and I'm not here to take that away from anyone. But for me, it eventually felt like everything took way more effort than it should. You know, food felt restrictive, my mood dipped. Social situations became very awkward. Energy was unpredictable. It's like your world gets smaller because you're always managing the low energy state. High carb isn't magical by any means, but it feels like you actually get your life back. Your day doesn't revolve around conserving energy or avoiding foods. You can exist, move, think, and live without feeling like you're constantly running on empty. For the first time in years, I feel like my body is cooperating with me, not fighting every step, not punishing me for eating, not slowing to a crawl. You know, it's just working. Weight loss doesn't feel like a battle, and it feels like something that I can finally stick with long term without burning out. So here's the real takeaway. It's not about being team carbs or team no carbs. It's about finding a way of eating that gives you energy, sleep, mental clarity, consistency, and a body that isn't begging for mercy. Right now, for me, that's high carb, low fat, plant-based. Not because someone online told me to do it, but because it works and it feels sustainable in a way that low carb never did. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.